Hello, hello, hello. It's been a while since I did a live stream, a little bit over a week. So I figured I'd just turn it on for a couple minutes today. Let me know how you're doing. So we are just carving away, continuing on our block. So I'm actually taking away all of this black area. Let's see if these lights are situated properly. Looking pretty good. Let's see. I don't think I can use these right now. I'm just taking away all these black areas, which are the cracks and the texture of the rocks. I'm just simplifying these. They're pretty complex textures and shapes. I'm just simplifying them as I go along. I kind of pick and choose where I want the details. Not getting too crazy with the specifics. This is Shina plywood that we're carving, so it's really soft. I just hold my knife like a pencil and it just easily carves. Sometimes I'll hold it traditional way as well. I'll try not to rotate the block too much right now. Sometimes if I'm doing that, I like to turn the angle of my light. So I have two lights on. I have one that's overhead here in front of me. It's coming down at a nice angle like this. And then I have another one that's coming from over my left shoulder, so that when I do turn my knife, there's still light and I can see. So for an example, I can carve this here, this little line, and then when I come back this way, if this light wasn't here, I'd be in shadow. So I put this light coming over here, so I have two lights from both angles. That way I don't have to turn my block as much, and I can just continue carving. This isn't really, not too worried about getting everything exact. These are just like, just getting close. It's more about the texture. We have 4 people on here. Well, I'm one of them. So there's 3 people on here today. So welcome back. Sorry for the delay. I forgot last week my son was off for the Easter break or spring break. And I guess I kind of was busy with that, doing some family things. It was a nice week off. It was a nice spring week in New York City. And I wasn't able to do any live streams, make too much progress on this. I forgot that this carving is, it's not really hard, but there's a lot of it, and I kind of forgot how detailed this layer was. So hopefully I have this finished carving, finish this color, the carving for this color block in the next day or two. And then I'll do the next color on our print. So it's taking me a little longer than I expected, which is usually the case when it comes to these larger reductive prints. This kind of carving is fun. It's kind of, I started up here, just kind of working my way down. So I'm going to go back here and make sure I get this area here. I use one of these like non-slip pads here to hold the block in place. Hello. Hi. How many layers do I have on this print now? I can tell you if I count them. Hold on. So this is the print. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's about 11 or 12 in the sky. And then for the figure by itself, which was two separate blocks, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 impressions or 8 impressions in the figure. And then we have 2 impressions in the rock so far. Just the black and this purple gray. So what is that? Like 20, we're already on 22 layers. So around 20 layers so far. So it's pretty complex. It's going to be very detailed. It should be, hopefully it'll be successful. It's a little too complex. I don't want to continue making prints that are so time consuming. So my next couple prints are going to be, keep it under 12 impressions, which is usually average for something that I do. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on, it's just a lot of commitment. I could be doing, get 2 prints done in this amount of time. So this is a good challenge though, and it's something different. And I don't normally work at this scale, so I wanted it to be something that was exciting and fun. So we'll see how it goes. So there's a lot of impressions, but I'm really only using one large block so far, and then those 2 little blocks that I used for the figure. So it's resourceful. Reductive printmaking is more resourceful, where you're not burning through tons of wood or tons of lino blocks or whatever. So I'm really pushing it to see how many layers I can get in this print. And I'm also using 2 different mediums, so it's a little bit of a hybrid, east and west woodblock woodcut techniques. So that's going to make for an interesting finished appearance, I think. So when I have this kind of carving, which is, it's not super precise, but it's detailed. So I will practice more with this, the traditional way of holding the knife, which is in your hand. And you're cutting over the back of your hand like this. kind of squeezing the blade as it goes along, and then you're kind of squeezing it in your palm. You rotate your wrist. So I have been practicing that while I'm carving here. Let's make sure I'm on camera. This is a different technique. You have to go a little bit slower. I use both sides of the knife. If you get really good at this way of carving, which is the traditional way of carving in Japan, it will have benefits in the long run. It'll be faster, more accurate, and you won't have to spend time rotating your block around. So I've been practicing this in between, do both techniques. You're forced to move your wrist around and move the knife around in your hand a little bit more. Just fun. Just fun practice. I'm taking these little chunks out. I think a lot when I'm carving. I'm thinking about the shapes that I want to carve out. So a lot of triangles. Like for instance, this larger shape here. I'll just go around the bottom edge. And I'll just kind of take a chunk out. It gives me some room to come in with the next cut. And that's a little triangle. And again, go around the bottom. Take another triangle piece out, and you just kind of slowly take away the shapes. We got the school across the street, and the kids, very warm out the past few days. The last week or so it's been in the 80s, upper 70s, every day sunny. So all the kids across the street, they go to the park for recess or for gym, for their physical education class. They take the kids down to the park, which is like a block away. There's a big field there. So they bring the kids outside and they're just really loud. And I don't blame them because it's getting towards the end of the school year. They're excited to be outside, get some fresh air. Springtime can let out some energy. But sometimes they don't behave because their instructors or teachers yell at them. They try to keep them quiet because the neighborhood, I think they're just trying to be courteous to the neighbors. But we're in New York City. These kids are like, you know, it's a loud city. They're middle schoolers, so they're like 11, 12, 13 years old. Just keep chugging along here. Whoops. Let me know if you have any questions or let me know what you're doing. I won't be long on this stream today. I just wanted to give you guys an update. I am working on another YouTube video at the moment. Should be done today or tomorrow. been a while since I made a video. And that's going to be the printing, my last print that I finished, which I did the last couple impressions on the live streams, which was of the island in the Adirondacks. I'm going to show that print from beginning to end. And with this YouTube video, I'm going to move along the pace of the video. The pacing will be much quicker, so it's going to be, hopefully it'll retain an audience's attention more by speeding up the whole process, shorter, faster clips. I'll add some music in there, and I'm going to try to get from the beginning to the end of the print in under like 8 or 10 minutes. There won't be much talking. There'll be a little bit of me talking towards the end, but it's going to be the sounds of printing, maybe a little background music. I'm going to try to keep the pace moving because it seems like people only watch about 3 minutes of my video. It's like the average. Most of my videos are like 8 minutes long. I'm trying to get that 3-minute mark up to say 4 minutes and be 50% of my video. I'm also going to add in a little bit of B-roll, some pictures and some short videos of the Adirondacks and some stuff. I'm not showing every step in detail, it's more just like showing a little bit of transferring the design, printing, carving, a little bit of every step. I definitely don't have as much control when I carve this way. That's why I'm practicing. It's fun to challenge and learn some new carving techniques. This knife isn't as sharp as it should be, so I could sharpen it with a quick run it on the strop real quick. It's a leather piece. So it's hard leather glued down to a piece of wood. And sometimes I can just run it on this a few times. I have a few of them. This actually dulls the blade. It's just a quick fix. Just puts a quick edge back on, so you can continue working without breaking out all the stones. This green compound is quite rough. I have another one that's red. The leather is harder, and it's a softer compound. It's rouge, which is like a polishing, like a jewelry polishing rouge. This is much finer. I'm just keeping my blade down, trying not to round it much. Once in a while I'll just come back, angle up my knife a little bit, just come one stroke on an angle to get a nice edge on there. And that should be enough to sharpen my blade. Normally feel the change right away. Yeah, that's way better. It just is like really slicing through the wood nicely now. So you try to do that. Sometimes you get lazy and you forget to just sharpen. It doesn't make a huge difference. I use my other fingers here as a guide, to kind of guide, balance the blade. So I'm like pushing the knife into my finger while my finger's coming along so the knife doesn't slip. Same thing, I'm going in this direction, but I'm also pushing my finger into, there's opposing forces there. That's how you really get control with the knife in a controlled situation. You don't need it if you're in a really open area or really easy cut. You don't really need it so much. But when you want precision, put that finger on there as an opposing, and then the knife won't slip. I think that's the key to getting control with this traditional method of carving. You can get real crazy and get all these little details, these textured details, but you have to kind of limit yourself to what you're gonna, where you're gonna stop. So anything that's smaller than, there's tons of these little black areas. Anything that's smaller than, I don't know, like this triangle here. Anything smaller than that, I just kind of leave because I can't get all the texture. It's just too much. And it's so small that I don't think it won't even read well when you print. You won't even really see it, it's so small. These are all little triangles I'm cutting out here. It's multiple. So underneath here is the last, that's what's difficult about doing these reductive prints. So I did glue down my transfer sheet. But there are the holes, like this instance, this area. There's a hole here. That was cut from the layer below. So usually in the center of these black areas, like this, there's a hole. So the more I carve away, the more the next layer, so it gets a little complex and it gets a little messy. If it gets so messy at the where it becomes difficult to carve, I will maybe introduce a new block. But I'm not sure. We're going to see how it goes. Because sometimes it's easier to just start cutting on a new block. I'm going to switch back to my pencil holding position. I'm definitely more fast and precise when I hold it like a pencil. So I can wiggle the end of the knife in between my fingers more easily. So it doesn't really matter to me so much which way, as long as the carving gets finished and it looks good, I don't really care how it gets done. If I were to spin the block more than I'm doing now, that would be even faster. But that would be dizzying for you to watch, me spinning the block over and over again. So I'm trying to not spin the block for you. It's also a good practice. Just do a little bit of both. Change it up. I'm thinking about the texture that we're carving. It's rock, so you don't really want a very clean line. You want it to be a little bit irregular, a little more spontaneous. Add in a little bit of texture as you go along. You can wiggle the knife a little bit more if you'd like. And if you're not exactly on the line, that's okay. It's not like we're carving an eyeball or a nose or something that needs to be really precise. This is all just texture. Sorry. Got it zoomed in just on your blade working on the wood. Yeah. Yeah, there's tons of detail. So I have to pick and choose what I'm going to carve and what I'm going to leave. But yeah, in this you can see here, this rock texture, it has like perspective. So these are horizontal, the gunks, this area where we climb, there's a lot of horizontal cracks. And it's actually going back into perspective. So it's going kind of towards the horizon line. So this next couple impressions will really add some perspective into this print. Like linear perspective. You can see this line is going back to a vanishing point, and then there's another line coming back here. And so the horizon, it's going to the horizon. We're about 100 feet off the ground here, but we're up above this valley, this is the Hudson River. This is the Hudson River Valley back here. So where we are, we're probably 900,000 feet above sea level. So the perspective is a lot higher than the horizon in the distance. So this layer, the next couple impressions, is really going to add some interesting elements to the print, some perspective, some scale. So I'm excited to get this carving finished so I can see the next layer. That's what's so fun about reductive printing. So you just do a little bit of carving, a little bit of printing. Each new layer just becomes more and more exciting. So if you think about it, everything I'm removing now, I'm preserving this last color I printed, which is this purple gray. So if I take out anything that I remove now, this gray is going to show through. And then the next layer, which will be a warm, like an orange, dark orange color, will be down, and then that will just reveal, what I'm carving now is going to reveal this purple gray color, or dark purple color. So what you're carving now is preserving the color you just printed. That's the whole secret to reductive printing. You carve what you want to keep from what you just printed. Because that's kind of confusing to explain. But yeah, it's hard to wrap your mind around printmaking sometimes for multiple reasons. That's one of them. The other is that the image is flipped, which is kind of confusing when you're trying to adjust registration, or you're trying to troubleshoot something that's not lining up. You have to think in opposite. So it can be quite confusing at times. Saga Lu. Does Saga mean anything? 'Cause I'm a member of Saga, which is the Society of American Graphic Artists in New York City. Just wondering if you're affiliated with that group. It's a printmaking organization, non-for-profit. So here's a big shape. So this is a prime example. You can see here, there's these two little white areas in the middle of this big dark shape. I'm removing the black. So I could carve around these two little islands, or I could just clear it all out. But they're pretty big, so I'll actually keep these in there for a little bit of interest in this negative area. So I'll be sure to go around those areas first to make sure that they're preserved properly with a nice low angle cut, so that the base of those shapes is secure. Because this Shina plywood chips out real easy, especially with smaller. Just delaminates. The top layer of Shina just will delaminate. It's just a thin layer of glue. So if I want these two little islands to remain in place, a really shallow or low angle cut to make the bottom more secure. Here come back some more kids from the park. So one class goes out, one class comes back. I'm guessing their periods are only like 30 or 40 minutes. So we got to go to their next class. see those triangles, keeping those there. Now they're little islands. Those are the decisions you have to make when you're carving. What do I keep and what do I take away? So I recommend trying carving because it's really relaxing. It's a really good way to stay focused on a task. You can't be thinking about other things. I mean, you do have thoughts running through your head, but you know, you can't be watching TV or looking at your phone when you're doing this. So it's a good way to stay focused and not be distracted by screens. I really enjoyed carving on linoleum too. Even with this knife, I carve linoleum the same way. And that's really fun too because it's really soft compared to the wood. You can get very detailed with it. Sometimes I also like to carve these like three-dimensional things, which is more like whittling or something like that. I don't know. I've carved this dog, three-dimensional hobby kind of carving. And this is really fun too. Different kind of knife, but I do this once in a while. Practice on these Santa Claus. Did 2 of them, different times of the year, and man, that's fun to do too. I'd like to do more of this, like relief carving. It's really fun. So you're asking what the black is on this block. This was printed out from my computer. So I printed this out. It's a transfer sheet. And this thin paper, it's very transparent. It's called Gampi. I laminate it to a piece of printer paper, and then I glue it down, and then I pull the copy paper off of it, leaving the printed image on the block. So this is printed all from one Photoshop file that I save, and I have all the layers figured out beforehand. And so each layer has already was figured out, and I've been working layer by layer. And the Gampi paper is very thin. I have some here. It's like tissue paper. You can see through it. And that glued it down. And that's the traditional way of transferring an image to a woodblock in Japan, or Mokuhanga style. But in the beginning, the early layers, I used this graphite paper. So I printed out, I have my sheet here. Show you. So I just printed out, just on copy paper, the shapes. So this was the texture in the sky of the clouds. So for this, I just put this paper into my registration, and then I put a piece of graphite paper down, face down, and I just traced these shapes with graphite paper, and then that left a drawing on the block. So for simplified areas or large areas, you can just do a graphite transfer. So we did a little bit of both. So there's a lot of different techniques going on in this print. That's why I'm labeling it a hybrid woodcut / woodblock print. It has a lot of Eastern and Western printmaking techniques. And hopefully the end result will show or will reflect all the techniques that I've put into it. Hopefully that shows in the final result. At least that's the goal. I've used a little bit of the printing press. I've also used a little bit of the hand baron, which I did on these smaller pieces. I had to use a traditional baron for printing. So it's really interesting using all the techniques that I've learned from reductive vinyl cut, reductive woodblock printing, woodcut, and then the Mokuhanga, the Japanese style of printing and carving. Putting all of my tools into one print this time. Yeah, and this Gampi paper is critical because when you glue it down, the wood is dampened from the wood. It's a water-based glue or water-based paste, and it's quite wet. So you need a paper that doesn't expand. So the Gampi fibers are natural. There's natural sizing, oils in the paper fibers, and the paper doesn't expand and contract like a piece of cotton paper or a piece of printer paper does. You know, when you get a piece of paper wet, it bubbles up, it wrinkles, it expands, it contracts. This Gampi paper stays the same. So as soon as I glue it down and I pull the backing sheet off, there's no expansion. So every time if I were to do this on multiple blocks, it always stays at the same scale. So that's why Gampi paper is so crucial. In Japanese woodblock printmaking, especially with all the specific details, the tiny details that you see in uke-oe, like the hair and the super delicate carving and precision is very important. So without the Gampi paper, this, Japanese woodblock printmaking wouldn't probably exist, at least to the specific detail aspect of it. I'm always trying to figure out different ways to transfer images to blocks, though. I'm actually testing something out today. I went outside and sprayed some paper with polyurethane, which is a clear coat. And I'm going to see if I can do something unique, something that's more where we're not relying on the Gampi paper, because the Gampi paper is really expensive. It's like $15 a sheet, I'd say. It's a large sheet, but it's like 3 by 4 feet or something. No, not that big. Maybe about 3 by 4 feet. Like 36 by 40 or something like that. 30 by 40. But it gets quite expensive. So I'm going to start experimenting with some matte medium, some polyurethane, some adjustable spray adhesives. I'm going to figure out some new ways of transferring images, I think. What time is it? It's almost 2 o'clock. I gotta leave in like 20 minutes. Gotta go pick up my son from the bus stop. It's Friday. It's nice out. He's gonna want to play in the park with his buddies. Am I still on camera? Yes, I am. I was out climbing at this area twice this week. I took 2 days off from work and actually got some more climbing in because the weather's already getting so warm. And once the weather hits 80 degrees, I can't get outside and climb. It's too hot. I sweat too much and it just becomes unbearable for me. You're just roasting on the side of the wall, the sun blasting on you. You're thirsty, you're hungry. My hands are sweating, so all the holds feel slippery. It doesn't feel safe for me. So I'd rather be doing something else in that temperature. I'd rather be in the woods, riding my mountain bike, or riding my road bike, with a nice breeze, or swimming, sitting on a beach or something like that. Climbing in 80-degree weather is not fun for me. I prefer the temperature to be in the 50s or 60s. Nice and cool. The friction on the rock is way better when it's cool out. So I'm going to start painting outside. Some oil paints. I look forward to doing that. I just sorted out my painting kit, my easel, I'm using a tripod. I built a box to hold my painting panels. Pulled all my oil paints out of storage. I'm going to start getting back into some painting as well. Some small landscape painting. And hopefully I'll be turning some of those paintings into print, so that'll be a whole new concept. Studying composition outdoors and from life, bringing that painting inside, working it out in Photoshop or from sketches or from drawings, and turning the painting into a print. That's how Hasui did it. He would go out in the field, he would sketch, make some color studies, separate his drawing into different layers. And see how that goes. I don't like relying only on photographs. Like for this one, I'm using a photograph, obviously, but I don't always want to work that way. Sometimes I like to work from sketches. Like this one here, I haven't carved, but this is just, it's from the same area. This is a key block, And this is just from a marker sketch in my book, in my sketchbook. You can see the hatching. This is going to be a key block. Started doing some carving on it. I didn't get too far along. But this is going to be a key block, and I'm going to work out the color blocks from that. I don't know if I have the original. I do here, I think. This was my original. This was the original sketch I did first. And then from this, I did another marker rendering. So this is just a little watercolor and marker sketch. So I'd like to work more that way. I think my style, my printmaking style, and the style of my work will come out more and be revealed more if I work from life and if I start working less from photographs. So that is my goal as an artist, printmaker. Put a little bit more of myself into each print. Nice thin line here. Curving thin line. That's fun to carve. No, I have never heard of Netsuki, but I will write that down and check it out. Thank you for sharing. Get my pencil here. Write that down. If I don't write it down, I'll forget. Netsuki. Yeah, I have all this like basswood, like ready to go, carving for these little things. This is really fun to carve stuff like this. That's more projects like when I go camping with my family in the summer. We go camping in Vermont and a couple other places every year. You know, we're just sitting around chatting and the kids are playing or swimming, and you just break out your knife and a block of wood and you just start going at it. It's like really fun. You can pick it up and set it down easily. Paper ripped off here. I don't know what was going on here because my little piece of paper fell off. problem with gluing this down, so there was oil printed on this wood before. That last layer was oil, so I had to sand this to open up the grain a little bit to let the glue soak into the paper, or glue soak into the surface of the wood, the Shina plywood. So the more times you print with oil, the more resistant it's going to be to holding the paper on. So that's also another reason why I might have to start a new block at some point. But we'll see. Take it one layer at a time. But I could just flip this block over. There's another side that's clean that I could use. So what are we doing? We have 9 people. Nice. I will look into that. Thanks for sharing. Miniature handheld Japanese sculptures. That sounds really fun. So I'll just carve along, keep going. I'm about halfway through. I actually should be able to finish this tonight, I think. Because as I move down, these shapes get bigger and they get easier. So up here was very detailed, very small little textures, and down here, much bigger pieces here. So I pretty much finished this today. So hopefully I'll be printing tomorrow. I don't know what the schedule is with my family. Tomorrow probably isn't going to be a good day to print. So I don't know, maybe Sunday or Monday. But it'll be soon. I'll make sure I stream that live. So everyone can follow along. I appreciate everyone that has joined me today. If you've been watching my YouTube channel, I need to be more consistent with it. I have some ideas for new videos. Just have to stop going outside and climbing so much. But man, being outdoors really inspires me. Being in nature, especially climbing, mountain biking, exploring. It refuels my battery when I spend time outside. Then when I come inside to do work like this, I just have lots of energy. So I can't consistently work. Like, I couldn't work 7 days a week on something like this. I would burn out. So I need to take a day or two, take breaks, take a quick bike ride, or go for a long walk or something like that. It's super important for me. So I feel guilty climbing 2 days in a row, but this springtime weather isn't going to last very long. Soon it'll be 100% humidity, 85 degrees, and everyone will be sitting inside with their air conditioning on. So I just have to get it while I can. When it gets hot, I'll start riding my bike more. Get on the mountain bike again. Get into the shade of the trees in the forest. Alright guys, I'm going to stop for a minute. It's good to take a break, let your eyes adjust. So I appreciate you guys joining me. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. This has been an hour, almost perfectly an hour. So thanks again, guys. Yeah, it's always so much fun at the park. Thanks.